Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope all of you are fine. Today we are going to discuss a poem, a very famous poem, a very inspiring poem from the class 8th English textbook, a poem in the form of a prayer written by Rabindernath Tagore. Rabindernath Tagore was born on 7th of May 1861 in Kolkata, and he died on 7th of August 1941. A famous Bengali poet earned his name and fame through his songs. He wrote almost 2,230 songs. He has a credit of writing national anthems for three countries: Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and India. He earlier wrote in Bengali, later he translated his works in English, and his famous collection of poems, famous collection of songs, Gitanjali, won him a Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. This poem, Prayer for Strength, is song number 36 of this translated version of the Bengali collection of poems, Gitanjali. He was also awarded knighthood in the year 1915, but he renounced it, he rejected it in the year 1919 to mark a protest against the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. In this poem, Prayer for Strength, in this song, Rabindernath Tagore invokes Almighty for the strength, which will be the source of joy, comfort, love for all. He asks for the strength, which, with the help of which he will lead a positive and a fruitful life, full of sympathy, life full of kindness, and which will enable him to submit himself wholeheartedly to the will of Almighty. The poem is like this: This is my prayer to thee, my Lord. Strike at the root of penury in my heart. Give me the strength to bear my joys and sorrows. Give me the strength to make my love fruitful in service. Give me the strength never to disown the poor or bend my knees before insolent might. Give me the strength to raise my mind high above daily trifles, and give me the strength to surrender my will, my strength to thy will with love. The very first prayer that the poet has made is like this: This is my prayer to thee, my Lord. Strike the root of penury in my heart. In the very first word, the poet invokes Almighty Allah. He praises Him. He seeks help from Him in eradicating, in eliminating the poorness of his heart, the poverty of his heart. The word here, penury, means the state of extreme poorness. The poet has here used the punctuation mark dash, and after the dash he has used the word strike twice, which shows us that poet is very much focused. Poet is very desirous regarding the elimination of the poorness of his heart. The word strike means to beat, to hit, to assault, or we can say that to remove with force. And the word thee and the first verse refers to or means you as an object. So, dear students, can you tell me what is this poverty of heart, or what we call that the heart is a poor heart? Do you think it is not having enough wealth, enough money, enough we can say the riches or possessions, luxuries, or do not having we can say that enough money to meet one's needs, like one's basic needs like food, clothing, shelter, etc.? No, my dear students, it is not such sort of poverty. The poverty of heart means to have everything, to have money, to have possessions, to have wealth, to have riches, but you still lack humanity, you still lack love, you still lack the quality of helping others. You are not trying to reach those who are in need, although you have each and everything, we can say every avenue to we can say that to meet, to help them. So, and you are not trying to help them. This means that your heart is very poor. Or we can say it also, it is the poorness of heart means to have a heart filled with jealousies, filled with avarice, filled with prejudices, filled with envy, etc. So the poet here prays Almighty, he invokes Almighty, he requests Him he requests him to throw his heart open for all, make his heart capacious, and clean the blots of his heart, which are we can say that which have been made by his wickedness and by his wrong doings. This is the first prayer that the poet has made in this poem. The next prayer that the poet has made is like this: give me the strength lightly to bear joys and sorrows. Dear students, we know, everybody knows that joys and sorrows are the part and parcel of life. Everyone in this universe, in this world, experiences the period of joys and encounters with the period of sorrows. But successful is one who does not derail from the path while encountering or experiencing this period. For example, I must tell you one more thing regarding this, that the period of joy and the period of sorrow is a kind of test from Almighty to his supreme fellow beings. So in order to pass the test, in order to pass the test, Almighty wants to see how my supreme creation reacts with this period. For example, if someone gets the joy, or if someone receives the blessings of joy in any form, for example in health, wealth, success, in any achievement, either he feels proud of his achievement or he thanks Almighty Allah for that very thing. For example, if he feels proud of his achievements, he thinks himself everything, and he does not have an quality or have an attribute of thanking Almighty regarding this thing, then he fails in this test. And if he praise Almighty and thanks for each and everything that the God has given him, then he passes this test. Same is the case with the sorrow. If someone encounters with a period of sorrow, or if someone encounters with a kind of grief, for example, if he encounters with a grief in the form of the death of his near one, or due to some domestic problems, he also reacts. For example, either he bears the grief and he prays Almighty Allah for lifting that very grief from his life, or he involves in some bad habits. He start abusing each and everyone. He start also abusing Almighty, and some people commit suicide in their grief. So if a person bears the grief, then he passes this test, and if the person does not bear the grief, then he fails the test. That is why the poet here prays Almighty Allah. That is why the poet here invokes Almighty Allah for the strength, for that strength which will help him to bear both things in a light note, which will not derail him from the right path, and which will make him be able to take these things in an easy note, easily in his life. Next, the poet prays, give me the strength to make my love fruitful in service. Dear students, the greatest human attribute, the greatest human quality is the quality of love, or we can say the quality of loving others. In this verse, the poet prays, first the poet here acknowledges it that he is bestowed with the quality of love. He admits it that the Almighty has bestowed him the quality of love. But he prays here Almighty Allah that his love should be fruitful in providing help for everybody. That means that he asks for a selfless kind of love, not a selfish love. Selfless kind of love means the love without personal gains, the love without any expectation, without any attachment, or without any expectation in return. So he prays Almighty Allah that his love may be utilized in helping others. That means he wants to reach out in love to those who are needy, who need his love, who need his service, who need his care, and they should feel comfortable in his presence, or they should feel not downtrodden while encountering with this sort of help that the poet provides for them. Next the poet prays, give me the strength never to disown the poor or bend my knees before insolent might. The poet has here used the word disown. It means reject, it means to refuse. And at the end the poet has used insolent and might. The word insolent means rude type of character, or we can say that uncivil, we can say that impolite, and the might means power. So the phrase insolent might means a person, or we can say that a very rude person with power, a very rude person with power, a very rude person with authority, some kind of authority. So the poet here prays for two things in this verse. In the first part of this verse the poet prays for the strength, and in the second part of the verse the poet prays for the courage. The poet prays for that strength, the strength which will stop him from disowning, which will stop him from refusing or rejecting the poor people on this earth, which will able him to help the poor society, the poor people on this earth, and which will feel him happy to help those poor people. Next he prays for the courage. He prays for that courage with the help of which he can oppose any rude authority, or he can refuse any rude authority or any uncivil, impolite power or authority in this world. Next the poet prays, give me the strength to raise my mind high above daily trifles. The word daily trifles means unnecessary and unimportant things of the life, those things which have no importance in our lives. So the poet here prays for the strength. He prays for that strength with the help of which he will be able to exclude, he will be able to devour, or we can say that he will be able to erase the silly, unnecessary and unimportant things from his mind. He prays Almighty Allah to raise his head high above, or we can say that to raise his head above all the waste, above all the trash and non-serious things in life, those things which disturb the mental peace. The poet prays that he will be able to avoid, or he will be able to keep himself away from unnecessary discussions, debates and deliberations, so that the purposeful, or we can say that the meaningful journey of life did not get disturbed. Next the poet prays, give me the strength to surrender my will to thy will with love. Here the poet prays for that strength which will make him a true believer of Almighty. First thing, give me the strength to surrender my will to thy will with love means a person who believes wholeheartedly in the existence of Almighty, in the existence of God. So he here asks for that strength with the help of which he will be able to submit himself wholeheartedly with love, not with compulsion, to that supreme power, and that too without giving it a second thought. He prays for that kind of life in which he will not trespass or sin. He asks for that very strength with the help of which he could surrender himself, his heart, body, mind, soul, each and everything, whatever he has, whatever Almighty has provided him, has given him, to his will, to Almighty's will, to God's will, and to live a life as asked, as told by Almighty Allah. So dear students, I hope you people have understood this. May we prosper all, may we have a good time ahead in our lives. Ameen. Allah Hafiz.